Really? Oh. What's up, guys? So, what's the real threat here in America? What is really, honestly, the real threat? Mm. Do we think it's really terrorism? Yeah. That's a real threat in America? Absolutely not. Jobs, corporate jobs, are the real threat, right? In the world, in America. A 5 to 9 job, it's what's killing your soul, anybody's soul, my soul, anybody. Mm. But we have to go at the beginning. Who created all this crap? Mm. Where does it say it? Mm. The Bible, the book of lies. Mm. Written by masters and read by slaves. Mm. I literally wrote it down and says, by the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food. Right? And we have believed that for centuries. We have believed that having a job is what humans need, right? This is the real threat in America. This is the real threat to humanity. Mm. A job. It's not that I don't want to work, it's that I don't want to work at the wrong things. Mm. That's the dangerous part. Mm. These corporate jobs, it's not they're making all the money, but they're draining you from your true purpose, right? They're literally stripping you out from your essence, right? Having these jobs. The real threat, to be specific, it's your supervisor and manager. These two people are the most evil people on earth, right? And they know it. Okay. They're being trained by other people, of course. But if there's a pyramid, there's a hierarchy, right? From the president, the CEO, blah, blah, you go down. So it's always the supervisors and managers, right? These people are so good to the point that they're better than psychologists. They know people better. They know what people respond to. Okay. They are very subtle about it. This is what I've learned about managers and supervisors. These two categories of enemies, it's the true enemy of an American, right? Mm. These two people are destroying lives indirectly. Mm. What am I promoting? What? To people to be lazy? Absolutely not. You can have a corporate job. What's up? Hi. You can have a corporate job and know it's a tool. Use it as a tool and don't be fooled that they really love you, like you, and they pretend to take care of your family because they don't, right? Just because you get a paycheck and allows you to pay the bills, that doesn't mean they like you and you're part of their family. They love to use those words, right? They love that. You're part of the team, you're part of the family, but it's all garbage, for the most part, all garbage, right? I believe that the real threat in America, it's not radical Islam, it's not the Jewish people, it's not terrorists, it's literally corporate jobs. Corporate. That's the real threat. People who want to ignore this, they're entitled to their own opinion, their own knowledge. I'm entitled to mine. Mhm. The true danger in America today, right? It's corporate jobs. Mhm. I interact with a few managers and they never want to have conversations with me. And it's not that I want to argue, I want to fight. I always keep it honorable. I always keep myself in honor and just try to have a conversation, and it's under eyes. Straight evil stuff, right? Mm. There's certain people who do certain things that they will not do at home, but because they need that paycheck, right? They don't want to make their partner angry. If you have a wife or you have a husband, they don't, because then they're gonna call you loser. You can't hold a job, and at the end of the day, jobs are for slaves. Mm. There are for slaves. Mm. And of course, it's in the Bible. Of course, the Bible is written by masters and read by slaves. That's why it's a powerful book. Not because it's from God. Mm, mm-mm. They control these people. They control that you have to work so they can own all the resource of the planet. And if that is not a real threat in this world, in America, what is? Mm, What is? Mm. And it's so crazy, right? Because back in the day, to this day, if you have a son, I have a son who's 18, almost 18. He's gonna get his first job and everybody's happy, right? And it's okay. It's nothing wrong about having a corporate job. What's wrong is to fool yourself that it's something that you will need on the long run, on the long term. It's something that you think you need to survive, right? Because as the Bible says, leader says it. mm, Corporate job are evil. Corporate jobs are evil. There are. Mhm. Everybody's born with a gift. I've said it before. I believe in numerology and astrology, right? But how the system is established, that's why a lot of us fall into the trap that we need a corporate job, a 9 to 5, right? And sometimes we believe that there's no other way around it, and it is. Mm. But we don't want to disappoint, first of all, ourselves because we're programmed that if you don't have a job, you're nobody. Okay. Second, then family, right? Third, your girl, your husband, your wife. And it becomes this a domino effect. Everybody's judging you because you can't hold a job, right? And it's not to try to find a good job. That's another ignorant mentality too. It's not that. Mm. It's not. It's about finding your own, your own thing. And this is why, again, I said it, corporate jobs are the cause of all the evil in this world. The bitter, depression, families falling apart. Because corporate jobs, they drain you from everything. And when you get home, you give the crumbs to your family. Mm. You get home and you don't know why you're angry and you don't know why you don't want to do anything. You're not even happy to talk to your family sometimes. It's crazy. What's crazier is because you allow your manager and your supervisor to talk to you in a certain way, right? But then you get home and you want to scream and you don't want to be. talk to. But your supervisor and manager can degrade you in a way that you know is true, but you're not accepting it because, like, well, this is my job and this is my responsibility. You know, supervisors and managers stripped you out of your dignity, right? They mental rape you, and a lot of people don't know that. Mhm. I'm gonna put an example how, you know. So I remember back in the day, I was 18 years old, and I was still before that transition kick in. You know, back in 2005, four, six, when you were a hard worker, they will literally appreciate that. Okay. Now these days, you're a hard worker, they can replace you now. So back in the day, there was no such thing as multitasking. Now, all these companies, whatever company, I don't give a fuck what company it is, they multitask you, right? And what they say, we cross train you because we want you to learn everything. Garbage. Corporations, they don't want you to master nothing, right? Once you get to know something, they move you to another place. Once you get a little bit of rhythm, they move you around. And if you refuse, you're fired. They let you go. Mhm, mhm. They're smart because they know if you get to master something, to master, so now they need you. So they switch the script. Okay. Mhm. Corporate jobs are evil, not the devil. Mhm. Corporate, they're the fucking devil. Mhm. Those are the evil people who are destroying families. Mhm. Not people overseas who have nuclear weapons. They're just trying to defend their country. Mm. The enemy is within, mm, and we see them every day. It's called corporate jobs, supervisors, and managers. They are the real terrorists. Mm. As absurd as it sounds and ridiculous, I don't give a fuck. 100% truthful. Mm. They use words. We delegate, right? And I can make an example, just like they're kind of like politicians, though, right? They say something, but they do the opposite. But politicians, we see them in the screen and TV, right? But when we go to our jobs, then we see these people in person. Mhm. And I know a lot of you guys in the future, if this video still exists, they know and they have to introspect, right? It's not something, I'm not trying to convince nobody. You know? I'm just bringing this knowledge and sharing it because I've done my homework for so many years and this is truthful. They try to blame everything that is destroying this country. But what's been destroying this country are managers and supervisors, and they've been getting away with it. Okay. These people are the true criminals. But because they operate under corporate and because they are trained to use words that regular employees don't know, this is why they fall victim. Right. Mhm. We love you so much as an employee that we're going to cross train you so you can learn everything. Garbage. Okay, garbage. Mm. This happened like I don't know how many years ago, like 20, 2005. How many 2005? Yeah, 20, 25. They had to make this transition, right? Because people started not showing to work and they say, okay, we cannot proceed, right? We cannot operate. So corporations, jobs, companies were losing money. And I get it, right? If you own a company, you want to have somebody reliable, but then people didn't become reliable no more. And they had to do this. But now this needs to stop because now this is just out of hand, right? Supervisors and managers are getting out of hand. They want to talk to you just like you're a dog, like you're an animal. And people are scared to lose their family, their houses, right? But they don't know they're lost something bigger than family, something bigger than a house. It's called dignity, integrity. And they know it. I've seen it. They don't have no light on their eyes. I've seen these men and women, right? They had hit so low. They have done so much degrading stuff at work, okay, that there's no light in their eyes. They lost their dignity, their integrity, right? And they think they're winning. They think they haven't lost something precious because they still have a check or money to pay their bills and the school for their kids. And then they don't know why their kids grow up and they don't have respect for their parents because the kids were watching all this. Mhm. You go to your job and just imagine this. This is an exercise you can apply. What would your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband will say if you will be recorded how the manager and supervisor talks to you? Mm? This is what you're going to bring home. Okay. It'll be interesting to take your little daughter, your little boy, right? This is where I work, son. But without telling the manager and the supervisor, you will not tell them. Will they still talk to you with respect? No, absolutely not. This is the biggest problem we're having. People are talking about women are becoming hoes. I know that they have been hoes all this time. I don't think that's the biggest problem right now. Corporate jobs, it's the main evil within this country, America, mm, and the Western Hemisphere. Corporate jobs are literally draining your soul. Mm. They are. So, what's the catch? How can we solve this? Well, it's not violence, it's not fighting. Disclaimer, it's not. I don't advocate for that. If people will simultaneously, at the same time, will walk away from a job, right? Can you imagine 200, 300 employees in every company, 500, 800, whatever number, right? Not even all of them, just half. They will walk at the same time, simultaneously in the whole America, all the 50 states. They will just walk away from this corporate job. Can you imagine the hit that this corporate will have? And people say, "Oh, they have money." That's what they make. That's what they want to make you think that it doesn't hurt them because they have all this money and they can hire more people. That's their only card. That you go, they have somebody to replace you. But when people do their math and they say, "Okay, if I leave, they can replace me. If five people leave, okay, they still can replace it. But if you keep adding that number more and more and more, it becomes more difficult. It's just a law." No? It's just a law, universal law, mathematics, right? If 30 people leave at the same time in the 50 states, we're gonna start having a problem. Okay. I'm just saying. But that's what it is. This is getting out of hand, right? And prison is not a beautiful place. So violence cannot be the answer. Walking away, it's your right. Okay. And if people know this, they know this. And I know this because they complain on a daily basis about their jobs. Mhm. If they will do this, we will have an immediate change probably within 72 hours. Mm, 72 hours. This is the true evil, guys. I do believe in, at the very bottom of my heart, I do believe this is the true evil, the true enemy in the United States of America. Corporate jobs, 100%, draining you from everything you know. I'm talking about genes, your own intelligence, mm, that you were given since you were in the womb before. I don't know. You want to make it mystical? It's all you, right? Corporate jobs are the real enemy. of Americans. What's wrong with this fucking chair? Corporate jobs, it's the true enemy of America. The true. So whenever you hear the president, politicians, we are creating more jobs, people get excited with that. They do. They get excited and say, yes, more jobs, more opportunity. Yeah. More opportunity to create more slaves. Right. Mhm. So what's the catch? Less jobs. Work in itself is not bad. I said it before. It's not that I don't want to work at all. It's that I don't want to work at the wrong places. That's that's the key. That's the key, guys. Mhm. Work in itself, it's good. It's creative. It gives you purpose, fulfillment. When you work with people, with a corporation, not for a corporation. Mhm. You work with one people, peoples, not for. Okay. It's not until we understand this real change and we're gonna see a shift kick in. Okay. And we're gonna start blaming other fucking stuff that has nothing to do with the real threat in America or in the world in general. Mm. Corporate jobs, it's the true Satan, not somebody with horns, red, with a fucking tail. Mm. Mm. It's not. Mm. Corporate jobs, it's the true Satan, if you want to call it like that. It's the true evil disguised in a godly, divine miracle on earth to help people. Garbage. Garbage. Mm. Garbage. But this is the triangle, though. Okay. You have a job, you have an income, and you have a family. This is the triangle that these people have sold us, right? And we believed it. We embrace it on a daily basis, right? But it's always a matter of time. The corruption comes to an end. People start awakening, people start questioning, and you have crazy motherfuckers that start opening their mouth and saying why they think. Not only what they think, but what they know, what they have experienced on their own life with jobs, managers, and supervisors. Mhm. It's all stem from fear, right? It's the triangle. You lose your job, you lose your income. You lose your income, you lose your family. But at the end of the day, it has to be the other way around, right? You have a family, you have an income, then you create your own job. But how are you going to have an income, right? You're going to say, well, how am I going to start my own business? But this is not about starting your own business. Mm. You have to go through this transition that you have to introspect and say, what am I supposed to be doing with my life as a personal person? Me, me, right? But nobody wants to go through that. It's just like when a baby, right? I have children. When a baby is a toddler is teething, he's going through pain, but it's good pain because his teeth are coming out, right? Mhm. We want to skip that painful moment. Why? Because we know our wife is going to leave us. We know our husband is going to leave us. We know that our family is going to disappear. Mhm. Isn't that a good thing? Can you imagine you die and knowing that your family was because you had money? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. I don't. I don't. Mhm. They might be mad at me for a while until I figure something out. Mhm. But it's good when one of my children comes and says, Dad, I remember when you didn't have a job and we started doing this. Exactly. Exactly. You can never get out of the rat race if you keep running. I'm going to say it again. You can never get out of the rat hamster race if you keep running and walking. You need to stop and throw yourself out there. Mm? It's going to hurt. Okay. But for the first time, you're going to see that now you're going to start walking. And for the first time, you're going somewhere. But when you're on the hamster race, you're running so fast, and then like, well, I'm going too fast. I'm not going nowhere. Then let me try it slowly. And still you're not going nowhere. Well, let me stop. Still not going nowhere. It's until you get out of that. You throw yourself. But it's scary. It's scary. But for the first time, getting out of that hamster race, for the first time, you're gonna see that you're going finally. When you move, you're heading somewhere. There's literally now this time is a destination now. Mhm. Mhm. And that little race, whatever, stop, medium, whatever, it was going nowhere. Nowhere. Mhm. Is the real threat. It's not about changing my mind that I might be wrong. It's not about being wrong or right. It's about noticing that it's not only me. There's people talking about this already years ago. Okay. It is true. It's true. At the end of the day, guys, freedom is not having a choice to choose a job, right? That's why these people say we're creating more jobs. So now we think like now we have more options, right? It's not about having options where you want to work. It's about looking at yourself and saying, I am my work. I have to work on myself. And because I work on myself, then I can create more of me. And it's not slaves. Mm. But you're still working on a corporation job. It's very different from somebody who's working and knows that it's just using that check to go somewhere from somebody who thinks that that corporation or that job, it's really a family. It's really somebody who takes care of him and somebody who thinks that they really love me. They don't. They don't. And it's not something to be bitter or get mad at the job, right? Best thing to walk away. Walk away, find your own vocation. Mm. But it's not easy, but not impossible. People are gonna lose their family, of course. We're gonna lose our family members. And that's the hurtful part. They're gonna see you as weird, strange, because you made the decision to start acting like a free man, not like a slave. What's curious is that I read the Bible, right? Yeah, I said it. The Bible is written by masters and read by slaves. But when you know it's written by masters, now I read and I can see how the masters dictate everything, how they came up with all this stuff, right? God said, because you have sinned, now you're going to eat from the sweat of your forehead. God damn, they're so good. And while these people, they don't sweat, they own all the resources of the planet, right? And people think, oh, that's cool. They really think this is not a threat. No, they think literally Iran is a threat. Mm? People, North Korea, oh yeah, he has a nuclear weapon, he's gonna blow us. No, that's why one of the reasons they look at us like you guys are dumb and ignorant, right? That's why, because we don't see this corporate operate on a daily basis, right? Hmm. They don't. Okay. Guys, you don't need a job. You need yourself. Right. And just consider this. Right. When was the last time that you literally had a date or an intimate day with yourself? Like literally, honestly. When was the last time that you were literally with yourself? When? Mhm. Jobs are destroying more people than cancer. Is that factual? It is factual. What study? You don't need studies. Mhm. I'm getting tired of all that shit. Based on what study? Now we're gonna believe every motherfucker who says, "Oh, there was a study made here with certain people, and this is what the results." Mhm. You were born with your own weapon. It's called observation. You can make your own study on your own. You don't need nobody with a fucking white robe telling you that this is what it is and this is what it is. Sometimes, yes, not all the time. Not all the time. Corporate jobs have been killing more than cancer. I said it, have been destroying more lives than drugs and alcohol. Corporate jobs have been destroying lives more than drugs and alcohol. They have been. They have been. It's a matter of time. People are awakening, and that's a good thing. Then, when you're awake, you go through this process and you feel kind of like shame, guilty, like, man, I should have done it. Don't. Don't be hard on yourself. Once you soak not only in this information, there's other people talking about this, that corporate jobs destroy you. It's not only me. Once you soak on this, you make your own introspection and you decide to make a decision. Remember that the transition of knowing that corporate jobs are destroying you, nothing bad will come from refusing to go and work for a corporate job. Nothing. Everything will be good from there. Because for the first time, you're going somewhere. For the first time, now, a circle starts here. It goes all the way around and it's here, right? It's a trap. It's still a cycle, right? But as humans, we cannot live in a circle, right? We expand, okay? Even if it's a circle, but it's bigger, right? It will be bigger. Mm? But going from your house to your corporate job, it's a small circle. At least choose a bigger one where you can expand and not notice that it's a fucking circle. Mm? That's what it is, guys. Corporate jobs are evil, destroying lives on a daily basis. People don't know it because supervisors and managers are very good at this. They're trained to use words. They know you more than you know yourself. And if you come to this planet and somebody knows you more than you, isn't that a isn't that an awful thing, a horrible thing? To come to this world and for somebody who's not even your family, nobody who cares about you, knows you more than you do. It's crazy.